Hello and welcome back to Tales of Lumin. Right now we're talking Elder Scrolls Online. I'm going to be putting some footage in the background of the final beta weekend. I haven't played the game since launch, it's probably important to say that right now. Get that point out of the way. I do, however, think that I'm not going to be playing it now, post-launch. I think, for the moment at least, I'm done with the game. And in this video I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you what I did in the final beta weekend. You're not going to see all of it right here now in this video, obviously, because it's not going to be that long a video. But I just wanted to at least have something to link everyone that's wondering why the series just stopped at part 18 to. This is going to be that video. So if you click next in part 18 of the Let's Play, it'll bring you here and you will know what's up. So, I played in the final beta weekend. I did it for myself. I didn't plan on recording any of it. I just spent a whole bunch of time doing quests, running around, just adventuring. That's probably the right word to use. And I had an okay time. It didn't go as well as the starter experience as the first beta weekend that I played in, which is quite sad because that went reasonably well. Went really well, actually, and I had a very good time playing through Kanathi's Roost and, you know, through level 1 to 6 or 7 or whatever it was. The story was great. The tutorial segment was actually a lot of fun. The voice acting was amazing. The game was super easy to record, which is always a big plus for someone like me, someone that wants to record the games they're playing. I thought that the world was nicely realized. It felt like I was playing an Elder Scrolls game. And I can think of a lot of other positive points, you know, some of the characters that I got to interact with. Razumdar, for instance. Top notch. Razumdar was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I did do a couple more quests with and for him in the second beta weekend on Oridon. I think that's the continent's name. The big continent that I landed on. I think the city was called Vulkelgod. Not entirely sure. I'm not that good with the names. But I did get to interact a little bit more with him. And it was just as good as the interactions before. Now, there are many reasons for me to not pick this game up now post-launch. The first and biggest one is that I don't really want to commit to paying a subscription fee every month. I don't want to really buy the game. I don't want to spend that money every month if I'm not going to be putting in the hours and recording videos on it and all that other stuff. Okay, that's the main reason. Now, I guess if I was playing it and if I was spending at least a couple of hours in it every couple of days and if I was enjoying it and all that, then it would have been okay paying that money every month. And if they make it worth it, because I see they've already announced some new endgame content for the veteran ranks, but that's pretty much all they showed. You know, they said, okay, we're releasing some endgame stuff for you. It looked really cool. Okay, it looked really cool, but they didn't say much about the issues plaguing the game right now. Now, there's been mention of that on the forums, on Reddit. They have been at least a little vocal about it, but they haven't said, we know exactly what's wrong. This is what we're doing about it. You won't have any more bugged quests. You shouldn't be seeing way too many more bots. The game will have an FOV slider soon. We are working on this. We are working on that. They haven't been communicating all that well about a bunch of the issues that I personally had a problem with, and that is not great. That is something that I'm just super weary about when it comes to MMOs. You know? It's not nice. I mean, I said before, if they didn't add an exclusive full screen mode and an FOV slider, that would be enough for me to not play the game. They haven't done that yet. And there are so many other issues. So many. I've seen Force, who is a huge fan of the game. He's very pro Elder Scrolls Online. I've seen him complain about countless issues already on his live stream, in his videos, on Twitter, everywhere else. And he loves the game. So it's not great. Okay, their post-launch support of the game has not been amazing, and that, well, actually it frustrates me, because I want to play Elder Scrolls Online. At least I want to like it, and I want to enjoy it more than I do, but I had some bad experiences in the final beta weekend, and after watching the launch day streams, and I suppose the subsequent streams and videos, it doesn't look like a lot of the stuff that was going on with the game has been fixed. I mean, when I was playing, had pretty much 50% of the quests that I did, or tried to do, bugged. They just didn't work. You know, I got stuck at points in the quest, and I abandoned them, then I tried to redo them, then they worked, and then they didn't work again. And I don't know what the cause for that was. I don't know if, you know, they slowly but surely trying to get it fixed, but it wasn't great. It just wasn't fun. A lot of my skills weren't working. I had a bunch of bugs with items just mysteriously vanishing. Now, that was still during the beta, so I didn't really care. It wasn't a big deal. You know, I was going to get wiped anyway. If I was going to play at launch, wouldn't have been a problem. But these issues did persist, apparently, quite hardcore post-launch. I saw that in instances, there are just bots, or at least the dungeons and stuff, there are just bots running around all over the place. Apparently chat is one big spam fest, and it's not even really worth paying attention to for the most part, which I suppose you could say about most MMOs. But there have been a lot of issues since launch, and even before launch, that they haven't fixed yet, and that just doesn't work for me. I also think that if I had to play it, and this is pretty important, okay, if I had to play it, then the chances are I would be playing it as a single player game, and I don't know if that's worth paying $15 a month for. I would have just been playing to experience the story, to level up, and then when I got to max level or when I completed the stories, I would have stopped. And sure, that could have been okay if I was just paying a once-off fee, but if I'm paying every month, I don't know if I want that. You know, I don't know if I want that pressure of having to log in to make it worth the money that I've spent on it. I don't know. I also can tell you a few positive things. I don't want this to be too negative a video. I enjoyed the story aspects that I experienced in my time on Auridon. So I met up with a prophet. You guys didn't see this in my Let's Play because I ended it as I landed on that continent. But after I landed there, I spoke to the prophet. He explained a whole lot of the lore to me. And it was great how it all came together. It felt really good knowing more about what was going on, about Morlock Ball and about the place that I escaped from, Cold Harbor, the weird supernatural prison, and everything that happened in there, the characters that I met along the way. He sort of tied it all up nice and neat, and then he just sent me on my way. This is the prophet that I'm talking about now, and that was good. That was really good. I thought that the world once again just looked great outside of the starting area, but I don't know. Again, it's just not enough to keep me interested. I also played Wildstar this past weekend, and I thought that after I left the tutorial area, it had much more appeal to me than Elder Scrolls Online did. I didn't play as for the first time when I had a negative experience with the game, and it seemed like a lot of the bugs and stuff were fixed as well. So after experiencing Wildstar for, let's just say, an extended period of time, my thoughts, my impressions of Elder Scrolls were slightly worsened. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically Wildstar was pushed up, and because of that, Elder Scrolls Online was pushed down, mainly because of the polish in Wildstar, and I guess the amount that they give you for your subscription fee, there just seems to be a whole lot more. But I don't know. I don't want this to be a Wildstar versus Elder Scrolls video. I might upload one of those at some point. I might talk about the differences between the two of them. But this video, I basically just wanted to use to tell you guys that the chances are slim I'm going to be playing the game anytime soon again. I think I'm done with Elder Scrolls Online for now. I know some of the issues that I was talking about here are not that major. You know, they're not that huge. They are things that one could live with if you were passionate about the game and you really wanted to play, but I guess I'm just not that passionate. I would have preferred an Elder Scrolls 6. Something after Skyrim. I would have preferred that. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. And I'm not saying I've written it off entirely. Once again, I might jump back in there at some point. The game will probably go free to play sometime in the future. Maybe then I'll jump in. But I guess you guys can just tell me how your experiences with the game have been. Have you been enjoying it since launch? I've received a couple of messages, tweets, stuff like that from a couple of you asking, are you going to play it? Because I'm playing it now and I want to know if you're playing it. Sadly, no. Sadly, no. But please, tell me if you've had positive experiences. I can imagine if I had a friend or two to play with, and I just spent all my time with them, leveling up, doing dungeons, instances, whatever, public events, stuff like that, then it would have been kind of cool. It would have felt like Skyrim co-op. That would have been more fun. I wouldn't have to rely on the, let's just say, Elder Scrolls community at large to make it fun and entertaining, or to help me out, or whatever. Because, let's just say, for the most part, the communities in MMOs, when they first launch, are never that great. I guess it would have been better if I had then played with friends, but whatever. Those are my thoughts. I had some negative experiences, and thus I probably won't be playing. What about you guys? Let me know. Check back here soon for more. Give this video a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. And again, leave a comment with your impressions. I will be replying to comments. I will be discussing it with you. I'm back doing that now. Google Plus and YouTube aren't shutting me out anymore because I couldn't actually reply to comments for a while. Frustrating, I know. But there you go. If you're enjoying Elder Scrolls Online right now, power to you. Good for you. Happy that.